A complete guide to Brawl Stars meta. This guide is mostly for new players since a friend of mine is hopping on for the first time. But people who aren't very good at drafting can also learn a bit from watching. This is assuming that you already did a bit of progress on your account, such as unlocking a few brawlers, getting your Supercell ID, claiming Edgar, and maybe even Fang from daily rewards. And definitely upgrading them enough to know what gadgets and star powers are. My first tip is to not get too attached to playing Edgar. While he is very fun, especially for no players, he is very easy to counter, and playing him won't exactly make you much better at the game. If you want to know how to counter him, since he can be very annoying when you don't know. One way to counter him is to outdamage him, and brawlers like Shelly are great for that. You can also use an escape option. Many brawlers like Piper, Carl and Stu have ways to get out of his range. Next thing you need to understand is classes. Classes are a very simplified way to know what any brawler generally does, who they counter, and who they get countered by. The first class is anti-tanks. They do a lot of damage, which makes them good against tanks, which is self-explanatory, but they often lack support or control abilities to make up for it. There's brawlers that do a good amount of damage consistently like Lou and Charlie, and others that do more damage but are less consistent like Griff, Spike or Macy. These brawlers are usually classes under damage dealer in-game, but some controllers are as well. Next are the opposite, tanks who have a ton of health but medium or short range. Anti-tanks can take them down before they get close, but other classes really struggle with that. They are built to survive long, which makes them especially good in quite a few game modes. In the game, they have their own class, tanks. Assassins are similar in a way to tanks. They have short range, but a lower health, except they have mobility options to get close to enemies. So to counter them, it becomes less about doing a lot of damage, but doing it in a short time frame. Assassins also have their own class, but some in-game assassins like Stu and Sam fit into other classes. Next there's throwers, who can attack over walls, which sounds odd but most are balanced well. They can hide against anti-tanks and other classes using walls, but they get hard countered by assassins, who can often catch up to the throwers or just jump over walls. They have their own class, but Willow is a thrower who is labelled as a controller for whatever reason. They can usually control areas really well, just like the next class. This class is controllers, and as the name suggests, their purpose is controlling areas. They can place zones which nerf the enemies in a way, like slowing their shots or making them take damage, which usually forces the enemies to stay out of that specific area. Some can even directly control the position of enemies like Gale, who pushes people away from him, or Jean, who pulls people towards him. Controller is a very broad class, and some brawlers who are listed as controllers in-game definitely aren't. Support brawlers give their allies buffs, whether it's just healing like most of them, giving speed boosts like Max and Jaeyoung, making enemies easier to kill like Kit and Jean, or being a goat and straight up making your teammates invisible. Support brawlers do have their own class, but almost all of them are also another class as well. I'll talk about that just after this last class. Snipers usually have a ton of range, so it's good to keep your distance when playing them, since very few other brawlers will have enough range to hit you from that far. These brawlers heavily depend on the map, where in large open maps they counter throwers and assassins, who counter snipers when the map is closed off. Lastly, a brawler can have more than one class, even though in-game that's not true. This is actually better because it makes a brawler more versatile and they get countered less easily. Remember that every brawler is unique and isn't entirely defined by their class. Like Buzz has really high health, but he's still more assassin-like than tank. And some brawlers don't even exactly fit into any class like Stu and Janet. Thanks for watching, and I hope you learned something from watching this.